So back in school, I made a huge mistake, right? So I actually thought my lectures and then assignments were enough to land me a job. So basically, I thought my degree was the only thing that I needed to make it in the industry. And by the time I realized how wrong I was already in level 300. And honestly, I felt like I was very late to the party. Now I found myself having to play catch up. I had to start from scratch, while others had already built projects, have done internships, they've done a lot of things. Basically, they have that portfolio that can actually land them what a job. And that's exactly why I'm making this video, right? Well, and because of Mr. Fact here, a subscriber actually asked for this. Big ups to you. Now I don't want you to fall into the same trap. I don't need you to get into the same situation. You understand? You can use this roadmap year by year, semester by semester, to accomplish something really spectacular, so that by the time you're coming out of school, you're not just an average graduate, you're someone that these companies will look to and even chase. Believe me, like once you're that guy, they're going to chase you. You understand? So let me actually just go and then break down the details of this roadmap. As you can see, I'm even excited about the whole roadmap here. So I'm actually going to give all of these stages captions, right? So we have 3 main stages, and that will be in 3 main years. You understand? So year 1, I'm going to call it strengthening the base. We want to strengthen our base. So here's what you have to do in year 1, semester 1. So first of all, what is most important is your fundamentals and then consistency. You understand? Your fundamentals and consistency. Like once you learn to code any other language or whatever, you find out that you need the data structures, you need how to write loops, you need the control flow, like things, fundamentals cut across. You understand? And now I need you to choose one language, whether it's Java, whether it's Python, whether it's C++. I need you to choose something and then to stick to it. Now you have to get comfortable with your syntax, like get really comfortable with your syntax. So let me see. OOP, object-oriented programming, error handling, and then models. Now once that's done, I want you to build 30 small projects. You see, from between 20 and 30, I want you to build between 20 and then 30 small projects. You understand? You can actually be listing this down. Between 20 and then 30 small projects that help you practice your loops, your arrays, your strings, and then your recursion. So like basically just the fundamentals too. I need you to do 20 to 30 projects. That helps you practice a lot. Now number 5, and all these in your first semester, I want you to look into data structures and then algorithms. Now I see a lot of people thinking like they can skip this, they can avoid this, they want to work around it. You can't. Like if it's your plan to ever get a job, you see, because that's the standard assessment these days, you can't really skip this. So you have to go through things like your stacks, your queues, your linked list, and again strings list. So all back to the basics again. So that's what I was talking about in my point 1. You need these fundamentals very well. Number 6, I actually need you to learn Git and then GitHub. You understand? Now Git is the language and then GitHub is where you host all your code. You understand? So yes, so you have to learn how to push, learn how to pull, learn how to branch, and then most importantly, commit regularly. So by the time you're done with school and then they go through your commit history, they can see that you're a very consistent person. You see, the green squares have a lot of green squares. Whether you are going to automate it, you're going to do some automation to actually do that. I really don't care. I don't advise it though, but I really don't care. Now I need you to build some mini projects. You understand? Now mini projects. So as opposed to the first 20 to 30 you built, I'm talking about projects that are really up there. You understand? Things like a whole management system. You understand? Maybe a library management system, a hospital management system. Like build some actual big projects. You understand? Not too big, but like big projects. You understand? As opposed to the 20, 30 we built first. Now by the end of this in your first semester, you can write clean code. You can handle problems on your own. Like if you do all of this, you can handle problems confidently, and then you can also use Git. So that's that for semester 1. Now semester 2, I actually need you to take an introduction into web development. You understand? So I actually think it's fundamental for, regardless of what you think you're going to do. Maybe you think you're not going to be a web developer in the future or whatever. Like think about, you have built your products, you have done anything, you end up needing the web. You see, so just introduction to web development, like just learn it. You see, even surface level, some front end stuff is going to help you. Now next, I want you to pick up some databases. You understand? So 2 in semester 2, number 2 is to pick up some databases. You understand? So what I mean by pick up some databases is you learn some SQL. You see, SQL or Mongo or Postgres or whatever you want to learn, but just know some databases. And I'm not just talking about the query languages of like no databases, meaning to the relationships, how to normalize data, how to like really learn databases, database management. Yeah, so at this point that you have already learned your HTML, your CSS, and then your JavaScript, I think so now will be a good time for you to build your portfolio site. Yeah, so I need you to actually build a portfolio website. So for this portfolio website, I want you to actually build it and then deploy it to the web. You understand? Yes. recruiters love to see deployment, you understand? Yes, so at this point I need you to build a blog, you understand? A personal blog where you're going to be sharing your journey. While you're doing all of this, you understand, you need to be building more projects. So again, build more mini projects. Now I'm not being really specific with the projects, you understand, because well, it really depends on you, you understand, the stuff you can build. But I have a lot of resources, so I think we even have a repository, right? So for our tech community, the community for this channel, you understand, if you go to my GitHub, you're going to see a repository with all of these projects, you see, and it's actually in hierarchy. You can just go ahead and then build them out in that respect. So that will be it for your semester 2. Now by the end of this first year, through your journey, now this is just even school time, like whatever you do with your vacation time, I really don't know, like whether you're going to get a job, you're going to, like, I really don't know. So like this is just for school time, or you can actually just go to school and then also just factor it into your vacation time. Yeah, so at this point you should have actually been a full year in the game, you understand? And now I picked 3 years because it's a very interesting number. Most of the job postings I see, they're talking about 3 years experience, 3 years experience. So by the end of this year, when you have a portfolio of all the projects you have built, and then you have all of this stuff, you see, you're in a very good place to pivot and then to continue. Now for year 2, you understand, in your second year, I want you to look at full stack development. Now I've actually broken this down in this way, so that you don't get overwhelmed, you don't get burnt out, and then you don't quit along the way. You don't do things that will make us quit over here, you understand? So in year 2, the first thing you want to do is you want to become a full stack developer. You understand? Want to improve in both spaces. So now, as opposed to your HTML, your CSS, and then just your JavaScript, I want you to learn React and then Tailwind. Understand? Now whether it's Angular or whatever you want to learn, fine, but just learn some frameworks to just boost your front end. And then for back end, you can pick some Django or some Node, again depending on what you write. Now number 3, you actually want to stand out. So now you actually want to stand out, you want to look out for some good code principles. So the benchmark for naming our functions, the benchmark for doing a lot of things, you see, you want to look at some good practices for writing clean code, and then you want to look at modularity. Yes, now modularity, you don't want any spaghetti code. I want you to learn how to avoid spaghetti code, you understand? Yeah. Now in this very year, I want you to look into APIs, you understand? So I want you to go through APIs, REST API. So look into the REST API and then find out what exactly it does, and then try to also build some projects with it. So whether you're weather app or whatever, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you should build projects that deal with APIs. Now next up in year 2, and this is just even semester 1, is lead code, right? So I want you to actually be going on lead code and then be solving some problems. I want you to solve them. Lead code 100, you understand? I think it's lead code blind 75 or something like that. So actually just go to lead code and then solve some of these problems. So you can be solving a problem per day. With this, it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't really matter the volume of problems you do, just that you are doing it, you see, to familiarize yourself with it. Now as you are doing this, I want you to also go back. So now you're going to go back and then you're going to boost your portfolio website, because now you have built full stack stuff, really impressive stuff. Actually now updating it with the new stuff that you have done and your new skills and your fancy Tailwind and all what you have learned, you understand? So in year 2, in just your first semester, in year 2 alone, you can build full stack apps and actually ship them, you understand? Yes. So I think I didn't mention it, try to ship as much as possible. All the apps that you build in this year 2, try to ship a lot, you understand? Deployment, again, recruiters love deployments. They love that they've seen your CV and they have seen a link, they just click on it and it takes them to maybe a chat app or something. Now year 2 down this roadmap, we are actually going to be focusing on advanced development and then real world contributions, emphasis on the real world contributions. Yeah, so at this point I need you to actually go deeper. So you are going to learn DevOps, you understand? You're going to look into DevOps. So just the basics. So maybe some Docker and then some Linux, you understand? Just learn how to deploy on a large scale for real world activities. So let's just learn some DevOps, you understand? And now we want to collaborate on open source projects. You understand? So for example, I know everybody uses VLC, you understand? Even it has come a long way, it still has a lot of problems. You can go and then contribute to that. You can build a plugin, you can do a lot of things. At this point in the roadmap, you should be able to handle it, you understand? And now finally in year 2, well, not finally, because there's one magic step here left, but finally in year 2, I want you to build something really big. So let me see what counts as big. An e-commerce site, you understand? Or YouTube clone, LinkedIn clone, Twitter clone, any clone, you understand? But don't call it LinkedIn clone, don't call it Twitter clone, don't call it that. Like, just put a spin on it. You can put your own name on it, so that, you know, there's a bit of creativity. Like, just put your spin on it and then put it out there. And now when you're done, again, go back to your resume, go back to your portfolio, and then you update it, and now you can look for internships, you understand? you apply for internships. So by the end of year 2, you're a competent full stack developer, you know DevOps, you can ship very well, and then you also collaborated on real world projects. Yes, so for year 3, the caption I want to put on it is to specialize and then get ready. To specialize and then get ready, because our roadmap is coming to an end by this point. So whether you want to go into the web, whether you want to go into low level programming, whether you want to do cloud development, whether you want to do AI, ML, like just pick a lane. Just try to specialize. Now, most importantly, in your semester 1 year 3, I want you to look into system design. You understand? System design and then system analysis. Now, this is going to teach you scalability, caching, load balancing, and then the sacrifices you have to make in general to make applications that serve at a large scale. Now, once you have done this, even if you see a job with 5 years, because typically it's 5 years experience because they need someone who is a good system analyst. So when you do this and you see, in fact, if you see 30 years, you can still apply because you know how to design systems. You understand? Now, next, I need you to do some networking. You understand? So with networking, I want you to connect with some key people. You understand? You're going to find steps in detail of how to network. Now, this networking, branding, and positioning yourself. You understand? For when you get out of school, there are going to be different materials. There's going to be different materials on the channel for that in specific, but that's just like a keynote. By the time you get there, hopefully everything is fine on this channel. You understand? Just so follow. Now like the video. So go to tech events, like meet other developers, like collaborate, and then now at this point, if you have not even been thinking about this from the start of the video, at this point you should be thinking about your final year project. For your final year project, you actually have to go crazy. You understand? Because by this time you're actually that developer. You understand? So like go crazy, do something. AI, fintech. You understand? Just build something, even if not actually crazy, like something that sounds complex. You understand? So for example, I built an enterprise application with AI integrations. That's as much as I'm going to tell you. You understand? So at this point, you should also be thinking of your final year project. Actually, also actively be working on it. So in semester 2, I want you to go back and then you pick your projects, the ones that look very impressive. I think we have built a lot of big projects along the line. I want you to put only impressive projects on your resume. You understand? Yes. Now, not only that, that's supposed to be your main resume. You understand? So you have that aside. That's your main resume. Now, whatever lane you picked to specialize, I want you to go and build more big projects, at least 3. Build more big projects and then also make a resume for that. You understand? Alongside your main resume. You understand? That keeps you open to other fields, because we went through a lot of other fields. So the main resume keeps you open to other fields. And then your specialized one is, I don't know what you want for your dream job or something. So as we are revisiting our resume, we have to go through our portfolio again. And now I want you to go right back to interview prep. You understand? You have to go back to lead code. And now when you are solving, I want you to focus more on not memorizing but patterns. You understand? Patterns. Now again, there's going to be more materials on how to be the lead code guy. You understand? The data structures and algorithms guy. There's going to be more materials. I think the video is getting out of hand, really. Yes, but that's expected for 3 years. You understand? Now finally, when you're done with that final year project that I told you to build, don't just let it sit on the shelf in your library. Do something with it. You see, I'm actually working with a company right now. We are trying to implement the final year project I built. We are trying to implement it in real life. You understand? For a company. You understand? So do something with it. You understand? And once maybe you land the interviews or something, you get to say that, oh, okay, so this project I built is in use at maybe X company. Hopefully, maybe like something like Google. You can say that this project I built is being used at, let's say, Google or something like that. You understand? So and hopefully you also write your exam and then you pass. You understand? So actually, don't wait for your exam to start applying. Now, once you have done all of this, you just start applying. You understand? Yes. Now you can start applying somewhere in year 2. All right. In this our roadmap, you can start, but in my experience, you're going to be getting a lot of disappointments without this system design and this. This is just a blueprint I've given you. You see, a competent developer post AI in our era. This is all what you're supposed to be able to do. You understand? Yes. Once you do all this, you can just keep the applications flying. You understand? Yes. Again, we'll go into detail on how to make applications and blah 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 on the channel. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, really subscribe, follow, like, laugh, whatever. So now let's just look at the big picture, just a big recap of everything that we are doing today. You understand? Yes. So year 1, you have learned to code well. So year 1 is just learning to code well, fundamentals and all that kind of stuff. Year 2, you learn to build and then collaborate. You understand? I've been able to work on a lot of repositories, ship some stuff here and there, and then you understand. And now year 3, by year 3, you have been able to specialize and then get hired. You understand? Yes. And now this may seem like a lot. I know how challenging some of these classes can be, especially the most complex ones, full of maths and all of that. I know how complex they can be. At the end of the day, I think this is manageable. Yeah, I think you can do this. You understand? You can do this if you stick with it. You understand? You'll be able to do it. So just subscribe. You understand? Just subscribe to this channel. Let's go together. Let's go on this journey together. You understand? And in 3 years, I want to see your testimonies under this comment section. In 3 years, I want to see your testimonies under this comment section. Yes, I know this was a long one, but I knew it was worth every minute, every hour, every second of your time. Good luck.